What's up, guys? Running it back with another replay. Khorne versus Lizardmen. This is a tournament match. Unfortunately, a bit of a consolation prize for me. My I just lost the previous game, which was a really close one against Nurgle, and I didn't have very great tiebreakers, so I didn't think I was going to make it into the semis. So I decided that the best thing I could do was try testing out some different stuff, you know. Khorne has been vastly improved with all of its buffs, you know, the Furies and the Bloodletters getting more leadership, 10 more leadership for each of them. You know, the changes to attacking routing units has been very nice for Khorne as well, charging up army abilities and the like. And yeah, I just wanted to jump in here and try out a unit that in the past has been pretty universally panned as being complete horse and dog poo in terms of its abilities. But I've done some individual testing with its ranged attack, and I really wanted to see if it's nearly as good in live. So. Very excited to showcase this one here for you. Skarbrand as well. I really just brought the two big beasties just in case there was, you know, like a Dreadsaurian and a Slan. You know, that's a pretty common pick. But there's certainly nothing to scoff at here. I mean, my opponent does have a horde of red-crested skinks, a couple of Sauruses, one skink cohort. The Ark of Sotek, with its Mortis engine, is pretty scary. Also immune to flanking. Interesting addition onto that unit. And yeah, these cohort of Sotek are a very, very effective unit. Being unbreakable makes their frenzy always active. So the weaker, or the more damage they take, once they get below 50%, they get another 5. So kind of crazy. And then obviously immune to contact effects is pretty nice as well. In the back, the support elements, going to be Chameleon Skinks, Kroq Gar on the cold one, Salamander Hunting Pack, and a Razordon Hunting Pack. This is a very good unit against Khorne. In general, pretty short range. The Soul Grinder outranges it and can actually kill models off of it pretty effectively. But the Salamander's outrange the Soul Grinder. I can't really trade there. And then they're obviously very good against the Soul Grinder in return with their fire, and also against Skarbrand. So yeah, it's gonna be a fast and furious battle here. I just wanted to slow it down a little bit there, just so I could talk about it before everything kicks off, because it's all about to go down, boys. First shot comes in here, kills a few skink models. Really not too terrible. One really nice thing about this unit, it fires every 5 seconds. That is actually incredibly fast. So you can really get a lot of good work done with this in a short period of time. The one bad thing is it is a little inaccurate as it misses there, and you can't really aim it. You know, it's a precursor weapon. You can see it right there. Fire at closest enemy, typically has low range and a small amount of ammo. I mean, it does have low range, but 40 ammo is kind of obscene. So a little bit misleading there, but yeah, it only fires at stuff it's charging at, which isn't too bad. Absolutely mulching models off of the cohort of Sotek there. Skarbrand coming in as well, trying to burst these guys down, get as much damage on as possible for the follow-up on the Marauders. Also, the Bloodletters crushing through the skink cohort, getting huge charges already on my army abilities, man. And jumping out here, Skarbrand going after the skink priest, who was hiding in the woods here, trying to be surreptitious about it. Dropped one good Iran's Thunderbolt on these Bloodletters and did quite a bit of damage. You can see across the battlefield, huge fights kicking off, Furies getting in on Salamander Hunting Packs and stopping up some cohorts. Unfortunately, a little tied up, so I'm going to pull them out and send the Bloodletters into combat here. Another Fury coming out just to try and deal with all this ranged pressure. Quite a few units out here, kind of scary stuff. And yeah, In the middle, Marauders going into sources. I don't know why. I didn't really notice that these were sources. They're going to absolutely stomp Marauders. Marauders are quite bad against them. Port Skink Priest getting bullied out here, terrified and running. Thought that he was routing and thought I could chase, but decided not to just because the Razordons and the Salamanders are here. I didn't want to get dragged out and caught by these Cold One Riders. You know, losing your Lord is not a good thing at all. Back here, Soul Grinder took about 2,000 damage. Not great, but you know, kind of re-rallying myself a little bit. I've got some Furies jumping out here to help these Bloodletters who have kind of compromised the Razordons, who were going in here trying to get shots on Skarbrand. Not going to be the case for them, and now they're going to get rear charged by a pretty vicious unit now. Furies have gone from absolute hogwash, really bad unit, to being a very reliable harass unit. Maybe not perfect, but certainly no slouches. And yeah, it's just getting wild over here. Chameleon Skinks routing off, got killed by the Bloodletters, and now 2 units of Bloodletters trapping up the Cold One Riders, leaving the Razordons completely isolated against all of these 2 Fury units. You know, routing, and going to use the more tattered one to chase, while I go into the middle here. You know, the Arca Sotek here has been accruing pretty steady value with its Arca Sotek here, doing quite a bit of damage. Luckily, it's not persistent and constant, but nevertheless, still very effective. Using Skarbrand, Rage Embodied to lock this guy in place, and rallying both of my big monsters here for the double team. Gonna absolutely tear him through this guy. Nothing to really help him out, except for some Salamanders, who are getting good fire on Skarbrand. No doubt there. Really tearing him down quite a bit. Rerouting some Furies to chase away the Chameleon Skinks. And yeah, forcing back my opponent across the board. I have now managed, at this point, I'm rerouting some Bloodletters just to make sure that this flag does not get capped. These Bloodletters are over here fighting some red-crested Skinks are going to cap this objective up, and my opponent really doesn't have any infantry left on the field. Very, very risky situation for him to be in. He did overextend with these Sauruses, and they got punished really hard by these Minotaurs, who are just mopping them up now at this point. And taking advantage of those changes to how routing units are interacted with. No longer invincible, essentially. Previously, you would only have 35% of the models in a unit actually getting their attacks off on a routing unit, even if they were in contact and able to attack. Very silly. That's changed in this latest patch, and it has really boosted Khorne's ability. So yeah, no more Sauruses there. Some Skinks getting killed by the Bloodletters. Some more Sauruses running for the hills. And yeah, Skarbrand and the Soul Grinder shatter the Arca Sotek here. Despite the value lead, though, this is still a dangerous position for me. I do have a lot of infantry. Very high quality infantry, but the Lizards are very fast and do have a lot of answers in their skirmish and ranged game against the infantry that I've brought out. So I really need to keep Skarbrand and the Soul Grinder alive to you know, more effectively support my disparate elements, because I am lacking a little bit of battlefield mobility. I certainly do have control over the objectives, though, which is giving me a pretty substantial ticket lead now. About to pass my opponent. He was holding 2 of the 3. That is not going to remain the case for long, though. And, you know, being able to, as Khorne, really being able to force your opponent to come to you is essential in playing the matchups. that Khorne struggles in. You know, Lizardmen, Empire, you know, Grand Cathay and the likes. Ranged heavy factions. Lizardmen can be a ranged heavy faction. My opponent did bring a bit of one here. You know, getting rid of the stuff that can sit and cap points makes it so that your opponent can't get a critical mass of annoying skirmish units like chameleon skinks, and having these big monsters who are able to chase these annoying little units down is absolutely vital, absolutely crucial to being able to win in this matchup. Bloodletter's crumbling out here. And so, yeah, as you can see across the field, Uranus Thunderbolt comes down, miscasts on the Skink Priest, who is going to break. Unfortunately, the Bloodletters moved out of the, most of them at least, moved out of the way in time. He's going to be running away. And, yeah, it's going to be a bit of a tricky fight, though. These Chameleon Stalkers kind of snuck up on me, and I overextend into them, trying to get these Ripperdactyls who are down here as well. Luckily, getting some pretty good attacks in from the Minotaurs on those, but they are very surrounded now. And with Kroq Gar coming in to support, these guys were dangerously close to breaking, trying to keep them around as long as possible and rack up just that extra bit of value on them. You can see getting about 300 extra value is a pretty good deal for you know, a unit that was about to break and will very quickly break. Now that it is worn off and the entities and the units start to die, you can see they immediately run. But with all of the disruption that they caused, it gave the Halberds a chance to get up to the front line and block my opponent off of this objective. And you can see the points accrue, the clock ticks. I figured that I wouldn't be able to hold this forever, but being able to hold it for any amount of time is always ideal. Definitely try and hold a triple cap if you're safely able to. Good dive from the Furies here, able to compromise the Salamanders, who have been accruing a lot of value. I mean, 3,700, most of that on Skarbrand. He's been suffering a huge hand of the gods there. I was wondering how Skarbrand kept getting chunked down. Both uses have come out now, both of them on the big boy here, but he's still got 3,000, or about 3,500 health. Doing pretty good. He hasn't gotten a ton of value, but he's been very disruptive, which is nice. I'm thin here at the middle, chasing with the Bloodletters, and my opponent is moving some Cold One Riders over, so I'm taking all of the units that were on this objective number 3 over here, and I'm going to be moving them to support the middle here, trying to maintain my ticket lead. If I can get... my theory and philosophy is get up to about 900 and be like a comfortable 400 or 500 points in front of your opponent with a triple cap, and then you can just kind of abandon an objective and force them to allocate units over to capturing it, give yourself an advantage on the rest of the battlefield, which is kind of where I'm at now. These Bloodletters, I pop another Relentless Rage. I had just army casts for days. I mean, I have been using the Horn of Khorne over and over again. Relentless Rage, second cast of this, very good ability. Can really stop the morale shots from tearing apart these Bloodletters, because they are still very vulnerable to that. If they start crumbling because of demonic instability, they go down really quick, as you're going to see here. Well, they do manage to rally. That's nice. Some Bloodletters over here. We're killing some red-crested skinks who get terrified by the Soul Grinder, which is really nice for me. Allowing my my guy to escape here. Trying to get some shots off. Blocked a little bit. Got one good one on the Cold One Riders. Took out about 4 or 5 models. More Bloodletters coming in just to get on the Ripperdactyls, who have been getting pretty steady value, but they are pretty low melee defense. So you know, Bloodletters very effective at getting through that. Running with the Soul Grinder there, and in the back, overextend with Skarbrand, a little unwarily, going after the Chameleon Skinks, and yeah, he unfortunately gets rear charged by Kroq Gar, and Kroq Gar gets some huge attacks in on him, and Skarbrand is going to crumble and return to the Chaos Realms. Maybe he'll be back at a later date, to be determined. But with losing my Lord, I am in a bit of a hazardous position. You know, as you can see, the Marauders, they're not doing too hot in the leadership category because of the -16. Also being attacked in the rear, just a lot going on. They get a little overwhelmed and start routing. But in the process, I am able to get enough damage on these Coldwind Riders, deal with them. And the Soul Grinder is just going crazy now. A huge shot on these Source Warriors here. Massive charge attack. Again, terrifying some of the Chameleon Skinks off. Really salvaging this position from becoming a much more hazardous fight. Some Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes trying to get away from the cohort of Sotek, and we're throwing at the Riperdactyls, and Kroq Gar got a little bit of value, and I'm just going to bounce these guys out to deal with these few tattered remaining Chameleon Skinks that are over here. A couple random axes going in there, and yeah, very effective, efficient unit. I felt safe bringing them out with the Salamanders and everything off the field. I had a decent amount of infantry and was holding the 2 objectives now very effectively. Some Bloodletters, continually just cycling infantry on and off the point. Tattered ones moving forward to buffer out enemy units, while fresh ones come in to clean up the tattered remnants that are on the objectives, and just using the Soul Grinder to move between positions and provide value. Huge charge coming in here and killing quite a few models, as you can see. Impressive combat prowess on this guy. Very disruptive attacks. Gets charged by Kroq Gar and is getting pretty low, but 1900 value on this guy is pretty ideal. Pretty ideal. Certainly what you like to see. Some friendly fire there, unfortunately. I am sure they offended the Blood God in some manner or fashion. And, yeah, the triple cap that I held for so long has pretty much put the game in the bag for me at this point. I'm holding on to middle and #1 objective very solidly with the help of these halberds who were getting worked down by the magic. They took most of their casualties from that, actually. Just constant Uranus Thunderbolts dropping on their heads, but they did what they needed to do. They killed some Chameleon Stalkers, helped buffer the Red-Crested Skinks and Source Warriors here, and got pretty decent value, being completely unsupported and getting hit by magic. Really nice to see a unit which in the past has been pretty wildly underperforming, really starting to come into their own as a good, you know, back pocket tool, you know. Additionally, love to see the Soul Grinder here, ecstatic at the glorious victory that Khorne has won on the field today. So I'm gonna just jump out here, show off the unit values. Pretty good across the board for me. Skarbrand didn't pay for himself, but still got 1800. That's not too bad. Could have played a little safer with him, but I think what I was able to do with him was enough. Don't really need to overthink it too much. Good value across the board on Bloodletters. Had multiple summons on a lot of these guys. They're just so effective. So good against so many different targets, especially against Lizardmen, who, like I said, have pretty low melee defense. So the armor piercing and bonus versus infantry obviously kills Skinks and Sources very well, but also does good work against Coldwind Riders. who otherwise would be pretty terrifying. If I had brought a Khorne warrior build, they certainly would have done a lot more damage, but not so. Yeah, that's really all there is to show for it. And look, you know, with the changes Khorne's gotten, you don't even really need to bring in flesh hounds necessarily. Still a really good unit, worth keeping on the bench for summons when needed. But you know, Furies are finally good. 1200 on this one, couple summons of that. 572 here. I mean, basically paying for themselves. They're certainly not overpowered. They're just actually cost efficient now, and that's been the nicest thing to see from this most recent patch, is the old Khorne forces able to trade efficiently. So yeah, well played by my opponent. Again, really good value on the caster and the salamander hunting pack. These cohort of Sotek got bullied a little bit that first time around, but did much better work in the late game. And Kroq Gar, of course, doing well, killing off Skarbrand with Ripperdactyls, providing some extra supports. But just a little bit unfortunate with losing those Razor Dawns and some of those early engagements, putting me in the position I needed to get the triple cap and kind of hold the initiative in choosing engagements at the end of the day. So, yeah, that's going to be it for this one, guys. I'll see you later. Peace.